are you again? Russ Gibb jumping up and down at random, and got an interesting show for you today. Have some very interesting people here in the studio. My guest today is Linda Simon, and she is a lady who is promoting something called Healthy Baby Week. And when I saw that title, I said, I gotta have Linda on my show. Well, I hope you had a good week. I hope everything's working out for you well. And because we had Healthy Baby Week coming on, I thought I'd have the only one in the world that still calls me baby, my mom and my pop, mother and father Gibb. And they came down to the studio today to see me, and I love having you here. And you got anything you want to say, Mother Gibb?
Did you have a clean handkerchief today in there? Is that clean?
Get out of here, Mama. Goodbye. Always the mother. Socks and hankies and, I guess, BVDs. It'll ever be thus. Well, if you want to know what I've been jumping up and down about this week, I guess the thing that I'm wondering about is the firing of Joe Glover over at Channel 2. Is that it? Is that the end of the purge? Are we going to have the new Channel 2? Frankly, I think they're doing some neat things. I think it looks better. I think graphically they're beginning to tie the shows together, and I wish them all the luck in the world. Even though I guess Joe was sort of a nice guy. But that doesn't seem to be the criteria anymore in television, broadcast television, whether you're a nice guy. Everything has to do on something called ratings. There's a marvelous book that was written back about 15 years ago, How to Lie with Figures. And, you know, I ought to get a couple experts. A good friend of mine, Dr. Tom Muth, runs a service out of Michigan State University. He's also one of the associate deans of telecommunication at Michigan State University. And Tom runs a research service, ELRA, East Lansing Research. And if you want to hear how you can make figures say anything you want, you ought to listen to Tom Muth talk about it, or read the book, How to Lie with Figures. Because quite frankly, you know, I can buy a survey to show anything I want to show. The other day I was reading one about the fact that more Americans prefer Japanese cars than American cars, so forth and so on. Well, when you find out who paid for the survey, you know exactly why they came up with the conclusion that Americans prefer, under their poll, more Japanese cars over American cars. And then when the Democrats got in office here in Michigan, they had a poll commission to show that this was a marvelous business climate, that many business people feel that doing business in Michigan is just great, and this is a great climate. Of course, when you found out that the Democrats had paid for it, then it made it a little bit different. And then when the Republicans, they fund their particular surveys, bingo, it comes out the way they want it to go. We call it massaging the figures, massaging the figures. And boy, does it go on today. The hypes are here, folks, the hypes are here. So when someone starts spewing figures at you, or percentages, or anything like that, take it all with not a grain, take it with a ton of salt. Well, enough of this carrying on. If you'd like to join me on the show, or if you have something you'd like to share with me, a letter or a card, just drop a card to Russ Gibb at random here at Group W Cable, Mercantile Drive, and we'll put your card on the air, or we'll get the guest that you want us to get. How about that? Well, let's find out a little bit more about Healthy Baby Week with Linda Simon. So hang in there, we'll hit the commercials, and then we'll be right back talking about Healthy Baby Week. Russ Gibb back again. My guest today, Linda Simon. I was going to call her Linda Solomon.
Simon.
Do you know Solomon? There is a Linda Solomon.
I've been called Linda Solomon before.
Okay, Linda Simon with an outfit called the Healthy Baby Week promotion. And when I saw this, Linda, I got to tell you, when Francie Leader, my producer, called and she said, there's someone that wants to talk about a Healthy Baby Week, I said, let's have it. I love the title. Tell me, how'd you come up with such a neat title, Healthy Baby Week?
Healthy Baby Week is actually, it's a program that's put together cooperatively with the B'nai B'rith Women and the March of Dimes. It's a program that the March of Dimes has had for many, many years. And the B'nai B'rith Women 5 years ago approached them as being part of doing it. And the name was already there. The object of the March of Dimes is to stop birth defects and to have healthy babies. So that's why we decided to call it Healthy Baby Week.
Linda, is such a positive name, though, Healthy Baby Week.
Yes.
You know, not what to do when baby's sick, but Healthy Baby Week. Now, is this a program sponsored by B'nai B'rith?
It's a program that's sponsored by B'nai B'rith and the March of Dimes.
see.
We do it jointly.
Now, are you with the March of Dimes or B'nai B'rith?
I'm with both, fortunately.
Both organizations.
Yes.
Are you a mother of healthy babies?
I am the mother of 5 children, and thank God
5 children?
Absolutely. They all seem to be quite healthy.
5?
5.
You must have started when you were about 10.
No, not really.
You can't be over 21 now,
I'm over
right?
21, but
You're a very beautiful over 21, let me tell you.
Thank you.
Are you a professional person then? I mean,
I am a paralegal by profession, so legal
tell me
assistant.
what a paralegal is.
Legal assistant is also almost like a paramedic, almost a doctor, but not quite. A paralegal is almost an attorney, but not quite.
Are you going to study? Are you going to become a lawyer, do you think?
Well, I think eventually, once my children get older, and
You'll have to.
I'll
You'll have to
have
get a
the time.
lawyer's salary to put them through university today.
Exactly.
You know, it's one thing to have a healthy baby, but it takes a lot of money to put that baby through university
That's
today.
for sure.
Thousands of dollars. Well, now tell me about what this program is all about. It says it's a family affair, Sunday, March the 6th, Northland Center. That's a shopping center, I
Yes,
assume.
it is.
12 to 5. And what's going to go on there?
Okay, actually, first of all, Healthy Baby Week is February 27th through March 6th. The exhibition at Northland is our culminating event where we do draw, at least this year, we have 40 professional and medical exhibitors who bring their exhibits, their informations, whatever, to Northland, and we set up from 12 to 5, and people in the community in the Tri-County area, anybody is invited.
There's no admission charge.
There's no admission charge. We have certain exhibits, community resources, nutrition, breastfeeding, parenting skills, child development, child abuse prevention. Many, many topics are there.
Child safety, it says
Child
here.
safety, drug...
Diapering techniques.
Yes, Diety Service brings an exhibit, and they demonstrate different diapering techniques.
Okay, well, let's start out with some of these. It says community resources. Now, I assume that means that you're going to have information of all the community services that are available for a young mother or a young family.
Yes, anything pertaining to family, we will be having PTA will be there. There's, that's a community resource. There's different things that, you know, is made available through the PTA.
It's a living telephone, Yellow Pages, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Everybody can just sort of converge
Everybody
on there.
converges under one roof,
And you can talk about what to do to make baby healthy.
to
That's
make
a good
baby
idea.
healthy and to keep baby healthy after birth.
Okay, this is nutrition. Now, just give me an idea of some things that I might learn about nutrition.
Oh, nutrition. For instance, if you are a young mother or young woman contemplating pregnancy, a major part of your pregnancy and keeping yourself healthy as well as your baby is proper nutrition. We would have a nutritionist there. Gerber Food Products brings their products and their lists of nutritional foods, what you should be consuming during your pregnancy, and also for your baby after its birth, the type of food that it should be consuming. There are so many aspects of nutrition that everybody needs to pay attention to that do not. So this is part
nutrition. A lot of people confuse being well-fed with nutrition, and it's not the same
No,
thing.
there's a difference. Eating the proper foods is one of the most important keys to nutrition, and eating properly.
Okay, because I was reading an article not too long ago in one of the journals, and it was discussing the absolutely necessity of having proper nutrition for the mother, because actually she passes that on to her child. If she has a deficiency in vitamin C, that fetus has a deficiency in vitamin C.
Yes, that's possible. Very possible.
And they also went on to talk about alcoholism, that they're really saying now you shouldn't even drink when you're pregnant.
No, they do say that you should not have even one drink per week, per month, whatever. You should not drink at all, smoke at all, take any drugs unless they are prescribed by your physician, because they as well affect your body as well as your baby.
Yeah, the baby's body.
Right.
Last week on Nova on Channel 56, in fact, I had a chance to see it twice. I saw it once here, and I taped it, and then I was in New York on Saturday, and it was one of those in-between times, press on the television, and there it was again. And it was a movie made in Sweden, which actually shows the baby from conception, you know, the fetus.
Yes.
And it was the most incredible photography that I've ever witnessed. And when you see that baby developing in the mother, and actually at a few weeks, a few weeks, 5 weeks, I think, the baby was moving its thumbs and everything.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
they take on the
incredible.
characteristics of a normal little baby that you would see outside of the mother,
Yeah.
as well as the baby
I never knew a
inside.
baby could see inside the womb.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
I was just amazed at that motion picture. So that would come under parenting skills, maybe?
Parenting skills would be basically after the child is born, how to go
How
about
to.
raising it, you know, what to look for in the child, just basic parenting skills, how to raise a healthy, happy baby child.
Okay, now genetic counseling. You're going to have someone talking about genetic counseling, and we're hearing more and more about genetics. You know,
Oh,
when I was
yes.
going to school, long before you were even born, we were taught that behavior and environment was probably 90% of how a child, and now today, more and more I'm reading about genetics, that it may be in the genes, the DNA,
Right.
as to what you're going to be like.
Exactly. We just did a program this morning on genetics. The color of hair you have, the color of eyes you have, how tall you are, how short you are, how slim you are, how heavy you are. If you are more apt to take and to develop Tay-Sachs disease or certain
disease.
certain diseases.
Susceptibility to certain
yes,
diseases is
exactly.
actually genetically not caused, but it's there.
It's there. There's more of, if your parent is a carrier of diabetes, so to speak, you are probably more apt to get
That disease,
diabetes
right.
than if your parent was not. So it's all genetics.
And more we have to understand genetics, and if you're going to raise a healthy child, you have to have some understanding of that.
Exactly.
Now, immunization. You know, for a while there, I thought every kid in the world would have a shot. Did you think every parent would automatically do that today? But here about 3 years ago, they had to have a crash program in the Detroit public schools because they found the kids were getting measles again and things that we
Exactly.
thought we were wiping out.
Yeah, what has happened is that many people who are misinformed feel that most diseases are conquered and they no longer exist. Well, that's not true. There are some that have been conquered, but there are some that do exist and do need to be immunized against. And people just are not
That was a nice word. I can't say it either.
Oh, it's very difficult. I've been talking for hours and hours. And it is something that parents need to pay particular attention to. They need
So
to.
you'll have someone there actually giving shots or just talking about
No,
it?
just counseling people
And
on
saying
them.
what shots their youngsters should
Right,
should
giving
have.
them a rundown on what is necessary. Even nowadays, to get your child into school, you need to have an immunization record of your child being immunized against whatever it is.
You need a full-time secretary if you have 5 children, Linda, to keep track of all their shots and when they're going. How do you afford the doctor bills with 5
it's
children?
not easy.
It's not easy
Not
today.
easy.
Well, say someone is having a tough time. Say they're laid off and they're finding pennies very tight. Will you have anyone counseling on where they can get services?
If there is someone with a problem, you know, your local hospitals usually have some type of program that if the individual were to inquire about, they would be able to help them. But the March of Dimes office, if they were to call 863-3000, that would be a key for them to counsel with somebody, for them to tell what their problem is and what is needed, and hopefully the March of Dimes would be able to offer some kind of suggestion where to go to.
In other words, the 864-6000 number is information from the March of Dimes, but they have a service now where they tell you where to go for certain things that you need.
Yes,
it's a counseling
yeah,
service.
it's a counseling service, just referring you to places because there are so many groups and organizations that are available to give help to people that many people are not aware of that even exist.
Now, it's this child abuse prevention. You know, we're reading more and more. You know how the media picks up on certain things, and for about 6 months, all we read about. And we've been reading a lot about child abuse lately. It seems to be one of the pet things of the media. Of course, I'd like to talk about parental abuse, because that goes on, too. But what about child abuse?
Child abuse, it's a program that it's presented to help you recognize the fact if you are a potential child abuser.
How can people abuse children? Does it always have to be with physically batting them around?
No, there's emotional and mental abuse as well. It's very hard to prove, but it does come out in a child. If they are emotionally and mentally abused, it does come out in some respect.
I had a parent one time that used to threaten his kid by saying, if you're not good, I'm going to throw you out in the alley. And you know, on the top you say, oh, that's sort of a cute ha-ha thing,
It's
but
not.
when you're just a little baby or just a young child, that's a terribly frightening prospect to be thrown out in the alley.
Yeah, that is also mental and emotional abuse.
And you're going to have people talking about this type
There
of...
will be people there to interview and talk, and if you have a question, you're interested in talking to them. And if you feel that you are a possible child abuser, and you really are not sure that you can recognize the fact that you are, you could call into the March of Dimes and ask. You don't have to come forth and give your name, but ask them for the number for the child abuse prevention and
I
talk
find
with
that
someone.
very difficult, though, for anyone to admit that they're a child abuser.
It's extremely difficult.
How would they say, I'm not going to, it's not me, it's always the other guy.
But interestingly enough, it does not happen in one class of individual. It's not the poverty-stricken person, it's not the middle, it's not the low middle. It happens in
you
every
get child
class.
abuse in all levels of society.
Level, every
Yeah,
level.
we tend to read mostly about the abuse when the people are poor. But those of us that are fortunate, we can hide our violations.
Yes.
We can
Yes.
go to the doctor, we can go to the psychiatrist, we can handle that. But that's an interesting point, that child abuse does go on many levels.
Oh,
and it's
very.
not just limited to little kids.
No, it's not.
It can go all the way up.
Exactly.
Okay, that's interesting. Child safety is a fascinating topic because, if you try and make everything safe, are you really preparing the kid for the real world environment? You can get into the argument. I want to know why they printed that child safety in deeper print or heavier print than any other child. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, this primary is from Children's Hospital. It's a group and an exhibit that they have. It basically shows the new car seat safety law that is now instituted in the state of Michigan, yes. That every child is, I think it's from the age of 4 years and under or 5 years and under, must be in a car seat belted in the car.
Or you can get a ticket.
Or you can get a ticket, yes. Okay, that is one of the programs that will be at Northland, is the car seat
Are we
program.
enforcing that? Are the police enforcing that, do you know?
I don't think they're enforcing
I don't
it as
either.
stringently as they should. You still drive down the street and you still see little
Kids
2 years
jumping
old
around,
jumping around and back and
peeking out the
forth.
back,
Yes, it's not as enforced as strongly as
But
it
there
should
is a
be.
law in the books that you're
Yes.
supposed to have that chair for
I
babies.
think it was as of April of 1982 it went into effect.
Now, there are others here, but the ones that I'm just talking about are fascinating. Diapering techniques. How do we diaper someone? I was watching a TV commercial, and they now have diapers for adults, too.
Yes, yes.
Because that's a problem with people.
Yes,
Sure,
that's
it's a medical problem that people have, and but I thought it was humorous. But diapering techniques, is there a technique to diapering? Or are there different styles?
Well, there's different styles of diapering. Some people can use the triangular diapering method.
What's traditional?
What's traditional is a cloth diaper with two corners that are pinned together, one on each side of the baby. That's the traditional diapering
Now,
method.
you've had 5 children. Have you always used one system, or?
I've used the traditional two-corner
With the big
cloth
pin?
diaper. No, the one on each side, yes, with the big pin. But the triangular is another. That's where one's brought up between the legs and one over, and with the big pin in the front. That's the one you see on TV and the cartoons all the time.
Okay. In other words, little sweet pea would have
Right, yes.
that. And now, are there any others?
Well, there's always, you can use a cloth diaper as opposed to a disposable diaper.
Now, as a mother of 5 children, I want you to tell me, what do you prefer, personally?
Personally, right now, it's a very, very busy time in my life, and I do have one that's still in diapers, and right now, I do use disposable diapers.
Disposable?
Yes, but I have not used a diapering service. When I did use cloth diapers, I did wash my own.
You washed your own.
Yes, but right now, under the circumstances, I am very busy, and I do use disposable diapers.
Okay, so you'll have someone talking about how to put a diaper on. It seems so naive, but I guess a lot of husbands could learn by going down there. Do you get a
absolutely.
lot of men coming down to this thing?
Yes, we get just as many men as we do women because, today's situation, there's very, very many single-parent homes.
Incredible numbers,
And
right?
it's unbelievable, and we emphasize the fact that the men should come down and learn just like the women because they, too, are a parent, and they, too, play that role.
Sure. And birthing options.
Okay,
That means how you're going to have your baby.
that's right. We get into the...
Take deep breaths.
Yes, Lamaze methods, and instead of going to a hospital, going to a birthing center, that type of decision is up to you. Everybody is different. Everybody's pain tolerance is different, and you also should be
Are you going to have
counseled.
some doctors there talking about
We
that?
will have some OBGYNs, obstetrician gynecologists. We will have different organizations who do the birthing methods and teach it as well.
Okay. Well, all of these things are fascinating. Now, let's go over again the day that well, the actual day of this affair is Sunday, March the 6th.
Correct.
At Northland Shopping Center.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right in the middle. There's like a
Actually,
big convention thing downstairs. Is that
we're
what it's like?
concentrated in Penny's Court.
In Penny's Court.
Where we are. Yes.
Okay. And it's going to run from 12 until 5 o'clock.
Yes.
12 noon until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And if anyone's interested in receiving more information about the family affair, the Healthy Baby Week, they can call 864 6,000.
Yes.
Will you be there?
I will be there.
Do you ever answer the phone if people call you?
No, not really, because I don't work directly in the office. My work is strictly volunteer, so I do work during the day. But if anyone else had any questions and would like to reach me, they could call me at my office, which is 352-4100, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Linda Simons, thank you for coming by. It's been delightful talking to you. I still do not believe that you are the mother of 5 children. You're much too young and much too pretty.
Thank you.
Russ Gibb, I'll be back right after these commercials. Okay, back again. Russ Gibb jumping up and down. And it's a family affair. Let me give you that date again. It's Sunday, March the 6th at Northland Center from 12 to 5. And if you need more information, it's 864-6000. Give them a call. Interesting lady. Hey, for those of you that took time to view the show today, I want to say thank you very much. For those of you that took time to drop me a card or a letter, I'd like to say thank you. But most of all, I'd like to thank you for just being you. Russ Gibb at random.